Arguing the case is about more than 9 minutes and 29 seconds. We will have more on today's first day in court.
Plus, rebuilding after the storm. Governor Ivey getting a first-hand look at the communities ravaged by last week's tornadoes. How the state plans to help our neighbors on their long road to recovery.
And tracking conditions, we've got some clouds building in. We could see some showers on the way. I'll have your complete forecast.
Committed to you. First with breaking news and breaking weather. Fox 10 News starts now.
Well, hi there, and thank you for looking in on this Monday. I'm Lenise Lagon.
And I'm Shelby Myers. Due to the NASCAR race airing on Fox 10 at 4 and 5, our newscast will air only here on our social media platforms. And first from us at 4, a breaking news update. Mobile police say 5 injured people showed up to a local hospital just before 1 o'clock this morning. 3 were shot and 2 cut with glass. Investigators say they later discovered it all stemmed from a shooting that happened on Bel Air Boulevard between Airport and Cottage Hill. This active investigation is going on at this very hour. We'll keep you posted when MPD releases new details about the shooting and the victim's conditions.
Well, it is the first day of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin's murder trial in the death of George Floyd. Chauvin pinned his knee on Floyd's neck last spring for more than 9 minutes as he slowly lost consciousness. A warning, some of the video you're about to see is graphic. Now let's go to Camila Bernal with the latest from Minneapolis.
Inside a Minneapolis courtroom.
This case is not about split-second decision-making.
The murder trial for Derek Chauvin started with the state laying out their case against the former Minneapolis police officer, showing the jury 9 minutes and 29 seconds of bystander video of George Floyd being held on the ground by Chauvin's knee.
You will see that he does not let up and that he does not get up. Even when Mr. Floyd does not even have a pulse, it continues on.
Prosecutor Jerry Blackwell telling jurors it's clear Floyd's death was a homicide and matches the patterns of someone who dies from oxygen deficiency.
You'll see him when he goes unconscious, and you'll be able to see the uncontrollable shaking he's doing when he's not breathing anymore.
Defense lawyer Eric Nelson paints a different picture of what happened that day in May, telling jurors officers struggled to arrest Floyd, and that the use of force is a necessary part of policing.
Derek Chauvin did exactly what he had been trained to do over the course of his 19-year career.
During the arrest, Nelson says Floyd put drugs in his mouth in an effort to conceal them from police.
Mr. Floyd died of a cardiac arrhythmia that occurred as a result of hypertension, his coronary disease, the ingestion of methamphetamine and fentanyl, and the adrenaline flowing through his body.
In Minneapolis, I'm Camila Bernal reporting.
Chauvin is being tried on charges of second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter in Floyd's death. He has pleaded not guilty. That trial is expected to take up to 4 weeks. Wow, you know, many areas in the northern part of the state continue to recover after last week's devastating tornadoes. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey taking a tour of the damage today.
Yeah, our investigative reporter Brendan Kirby got his own look at the aftermath on Friday. Brendan, the governor saw a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's right, Shelby. State officials are still tallying that damage, but it's been a rough stretch of severe weather. In addition to the devastation on Thursday, the state also got hammered a week earlier. Between those 2 days, March 17th and last Thursday, at least 36 tornadoes hit Alabama. That's according to Chris Darden, meteorologist in charge at the National Weather Service in Birmingham. And he says officials are still assessing the twisters from Thursday. The latest round proved the deadliest. 5 people in Calhoun County lost their lives in the powerful storm. Governor Ivey vowed today that the state would build back as it always does after natural disasters.
Today, every Alabamian grieves for these families and their losses, and our hearts and prayers go out to these families who lost loved ones. Alabama is no stranger to the wrath of Mother Nature. It comes all too frequently.
and part of that rebuilding process will involve the effort to get federal assistance. The governor says that will depend on how much damage can be documented. So she's urging state and local officials to work together to get all of that information. Reporting live, Brendan Kirby, Fox 10 News.
It seemed like 2 weeks here in chaotic weather. Finally, we're getting beautiful clearing of all that rain and nasty weather.
It was so nice out there today, Shelby. Had to break out my shades for that afternoon run. We got our chief meteorologist Jason Smith in today for the first look at the forecast. Hope you guys got a chance to get out before coming in.
I did.
Yeah, it was one of those days you wanted to have lunch outside. I did that today, and it was a little bit humid yesterday, but now the air's dried out some.
Nice.
Feeling good. It only lasts for about a day, though. Let's check it out and see. You know, this time of the year, there always changes. So here's what's ahead as we look at the forecast. We do have a little increase in cloud cover. That'll start happening. In fact, there are already a few clouds offshore right now. You may see that if you look to the south in the southern sky. We do see clouds around at times this evening. It's going to be real comfortable. Our temperatures tonight will be mainly holding into the 50s. We will see some 60s close to the coast, and it looks like a pretty comfortable night overall. Then tomorrow, the clouds start to thicken up. A surface warm front is coming our way, and that sticky air is coming back along with the chance of some rain in the forecast this week. No sign of any trouble on this particular view here. This is the satellite picture here, and overlay of a radar. Nothing really showing up there to cause us any concern at all. No rain around or anything like that. So good weather for the evening in the short term. Looking at what's happening locally, a clean sweep. We've got a risk of some severe weather this week. Want to go ahead and get this headed your way as far as something to be thinking about. It is a level 1 marginal risk for Wednesday. So tomorrow, some showers as the warm front comes through. Then we'll be warm sectored. A squall line's going to approach from the north and west, and it looks like we're going to be in that level 1 category so far. That's what the Storm Prediction Center is discussing there. So that's pretty common with most fronts that come through this time of the year. We'll be watching that closely. Temperatures in the low 70s outside right now. A real cool feel to it with the air being so dry. Relative humidity is running about 30 to 35% this afternoon. So just hard to complain about that. Temperature's perfect in the low 70s. Variable winds, that's helped a little. We've gone back to yellow flag conditions at the beaches with the rip current risk. And here's a look at the timing on the rain long range. Tomorrow afternoon, scattered showers as the surface warm front comes through. And then as we get into Wednesday, that's where we got a better chance of rain. At this point, it looks like it's going to be Wednesday afternoon. And you can see that this line here, there's some red in it, okay? We've got enough of a clash of the air masses and enough of instability, and this is coming through during peak hours of daytime heating that we may actually see a couple of stronger than average storms. So we'll be watching that midweek on Wednesday. Tomorrow will be warmer. We'll have temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. Some inland spots like Monroeville at 80 degrees tomorrow. And then we'll have to add in that rain chance. So it looks like if we're going to get showers tomorrow, it's most likely going to be afternoon. That's going to be our best chance of rain, scattered rain there, and temperatures in the mid 70s. And then looking long range here, this is what we're seeing for the work week this week. 40% for tomorrow, mainly afternoon, 80% on Wednesday. Probably going to get some pretty decent rain in here on Wednesday. And then this is something else that's going to happen here. Look at this, tail end of the week, 61 for a high on Thursday, but 36 on Thursday night. We're not done with the cold nights, and we may have to watch out for a little patchy frost in the inland areas. Highs in the low 60s to finish out the week this week. So some cooler weather is on the way, and that shows up as we work our way into that Easter forecast too. Easter, 74 degrees.
All right, thank you, Jason. Well, parts of Tennessee are dealing with severe flooding after major storms hit overnight. Take a look at this. A state of emergency declared by Nashville Mayor John Cooper because of all the flooding. Officials say 4 people died as a result of the weekend storms. Fire department crews say they responded to more than 250 incidents with dozens of people being transported. The National Weather Service says most rivers and creeks in the area have crested, while others are almost to that point. The National Weather Service tweeted that it could take a few days for the high waters to fully recede.
New at 4, Baldwin County Public Schools joining Jefferson County Schools in a suit against one of the more popular e-cigarette brands in the country. The school system claiming Juul Labs played a role in the vaping epidemic by making its products attractive to children. The attorneys who filed the suit claims Juul's e-cigarettes featured kid-friendly flavors that were promoted on social media and introduced to teens to nicotine addiction. The school districts, that is, are represented by the Beasley Allen law firm. The attorneys said that they are seeking money to cover the cost of resourcing policies, disciplining and helping students now addicted to nicotine and who constantly use the Juul devices on school property.
I'm reiterating my call for every governor, mayor, and local leader to maintain and reinstate the mask mandate. Please, this is not politics. Reinstate the mandate if you let it down. And business should require masks as well.
President Biden there addressing the nation, declaring if we let our guard down now, the coronavirus will get worse and not better. Fox News reaching out to Governor Ivey's office about her plan to drop Alabama's mask mandate on April 9th. Her office responding, that's the case, adding we are moving towards personal responsibility and common sense, not endless government mandates. Well, a Change.org petition has grown now to more than 3,500 signatures. Organizers are asking the governor to change her mind and extend that order indefinitely, citing concerns over another surge in COVID cases and deaths.
It's the million-dollar question. What can Americans safely do and not do after being fully vaccinated? Right now, a trial is underway to help come up with a new answer. Mandy Gaither has more in today's Health Minute.
They're doing their part to help stop the spread of COVID-19, rolling up their sleeves, getting fully vaccinated. Still, there's a lot they're advised not to do, but a new clinical trial may change that.
This will help inform science-based decisions about mask use and about social distancing post-vaccination.
Right now, for those fully vaccinated, the CDC is still advising against travel and continues to recommend masks and social distancing unless around a small group of other fully vaccinated people or with those who are low risk, unvaccinated, and from a single household. The trial now underway is looking into how COVID-19 may spread by studying 12,000 college students at more than 20 universities across the U.S.
We hope that within the next 5 or so months, we'll be able to answer the very important question about whether vaccinated people get infected asymptomatically, and if they do they transmit the infection to others?
One group of 6,000 students will get Moderna's vaccine immediately. The other half will get the vaccine 4 months later. The students will fill out questionnaires and will swab their noses daily, as well as provide blood samples. Their close contacts will also provide samples.
When these people get infected, how often is that? If they're asymptomatic, how much virus do they have in their nose? And do they transmit it to people who are their close contacts?
Those answers will help form recommendations on the future for the fully vaccinated. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
And the trial could answer if fully vaccinated people will still need to keep physical distance from others and continue wearing masks so as not to get other people sick. The Mobile County Health Department is holding a series of first-dose vaccine clinics at the cruise terminal this week. The hours are a little different each day, so take a good look at your screen, or you can always check our website. Tomorrow, you can go between 8 and 4. These will all be the Pfizer vaccine, and they're given out on a first-come, first-served basis. No appointments are necessary.
It's been 50 years since the U.S. withdrew forces from Vietnam, but their service and sacrifice will forever be remembered. In honor of Vietnam War Veterans Day, Vietnam Veterans of America Posts 864 and 702, along with the Marine Corps League, hosting a flag-raising and lowering ceremony. That gesture at Battleship Memorial Park in recognition of those who risked it all. Taps played as people paid their respects at the park's Vietnam War Memorial. Breakfast later provided at Ed's Seafood on the Causeway to thank the veterans for their service.
The Ever Given ship is finally free of the Suez Canal and is afloat. Tugboats were able to dislodge the bow of the ship from the muddy clay on the banks of the canal today. Earlier, workers managed to dislodge the stern. The ship, which is one of the largest to ever sail the seas, has been stuck rock solid in the mud for nearly a week. It stopped boat traffic in that area, leaving more than 350 vessels waiting to just go through the canal. Others are taking the long way around Africa. Ever Given has stopped an estimated $9 billion a day maritime commerce. So how has that impacted the Port of Mobile and other companies here? The port does have one shipping service that goes through the Suez Canal on its trip around the world. As luck would have it, port officials say that ship just left on the 19th of the month and should be good to go by the time it reaches that part of the world. After a stop in Tampa, she just departed the port of Miami this morning.
She has not yet entered the Atlantic Ocean. As soon as she does, she has to traverse the Atlantic, enter the Mediterranean, and by the time she reaches the Suez, most likely that backlog will have been cleared.
Port officials here tell us that during incidents like this, where a shipping lane is closed, companies must weigh out the cost of waiting out the delay versus taking an alternate route. In this case, many ships opted to take the 3,000-mile detour around the southern tip of Africa.
All right, let's take a look at traffic conditions on our Gulf Coast roadways, and this is about as good as it can look on the I-10 Bayway all the way across. A steady flow of travel. Of course, we're not near the rush hour, but we also have dry conditions. It's a beautiful day, looking good. Just to make sure to have those sunglasses. All right, here's what we're seeing out there from Pensacola to Mobile across Baldwin County. Clear. Looks good on I-10 until you get over here along the Mississippi line here. It looks like just near Moss Point. This is going to be near the Franklin Creek Road exit on Interstate 10. We do have a delay eastbound, so it's going to be traveling from Pascagoula to Grand Bay. There's an easy way around that, and that is to take Highway 90, and you can take it right on into Grand Bay. You can avoid that real slow going situation there right near the state line. As we look back here, you can see it looks good on I-10, and then further to the south as we track conditions here in Tillman's Corner, looking great there. Down at the beaches, we do have some delays here, and that happens when we get into that spring break season. We're seeing some delays around some of the intersections down towards Gulf Shore. So that's an update on travel. We'll keep tracking as we get closer to the 5 o'clock hour.
Well, planting season for farmers right around the corner if it hasn't already started. A lot of farmers holding out just a little bit longer, though, in case the temperatures drop below freezing again. Craig Burris says the freeze could be devastating for people planting most of their crops this time of year. Last week's rain hasn't been too kind, he says, especially for farmers picking soft fruits this month like strawberries.
We've had tomatoes in the ground for 3 weeks, so and that was just, we were taking a chance. You kind of stage it out, and if the first crop gets frozen, the number 2 crop becomes the first crop, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. The early bird gets the worm in the produce business.
And despite the tricky weather to the start of the year, the Burris Farmer Market is selling fresh fruits and veggies at its location there in Loxley.
All right, that does it for us on Fox 10 News at 4. More stories coming up on Fox 10 News at 5, including the local impacts of the Suez Canal backup. Plus, Governor Ivey touring tornado-ravaged areas to our north. Her vow to help those in need. Stay with us on all of our social media platforms for Fox 10 News at 5.